Even in its third century, America is still the most meritocratic nation in the world.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to explore these thought-provoking topics.
Today we're tackling a big one, something that always gets people fired up.
Let me guess. Meritocracy.
You got it. This idea that success is all about hard work and talent.
Right. The classic pull yourself up by your bootstraps narrative. But is it really that simple?
That's what we're here to unpack. Specifically, we're looking at Victor Davis Hanson's argument.
Ah, yes, Hanson. He's a pretty strong advocate for the idea that America, even after 200 years,
Is still the leading example of a meritocratic nation. We've got an excerpt from his work, and let me tell you, it sparks some serious debate.
Well, before we dive into Hanson's perspective, maybe we should start with a clear definition. What exactly do we mean by meritocracy?
Right, good point. It's easy to throw the word around, but
Yeah.
what's the actual concept? Do you want to break that down for us?
Sure. So at its core, meritocracy is about creating a system where success is based on, well, merit, meaning your talent, your skills, your hard work.
Okay, so not just who you know or what family you're born into.
Exactly. It's about leveling the playing field so that everyone, regardless of their background, has a genuine shot at getting ahead based on their abilities.
So it's about opportunity, right? Everyone having an equal chance to succeed.
Precisely. Now, whether that's fully achievable in practice is a whole other discussion.
Yeah, there's the ideal and then there's reality, right?
Exactly. But that's what makes this so interesting.
Totally. So Hanson's arguing that America, after all this time, is still top dog when it comes to meritocracy. 200 years? That's a long time to stay at the top of any game. What's his reasoning there?
Well, Hanson's point is that this idea of meritocracy is deeply embedded in America's DNA. It goes all the way back to the founding of the country. You can see it in the emphasis on individual liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
The classic American dream, right?
Exactly. That belief that anyone, no matter where they come from, can make it if they're willing to put in the effort.
So it's not just a political system. It's baked into the culture itself.
I think that's Hanson's argument. He sees it as a fundamental part of what makes America unique.
Okay, I can see that. We always hear those stories about immigrants coming to America with nothing and building successful lives.
Right, those stories are often held up as proof that the system works, that merit is rewarded.
But let's be real, even in America, it's not always that straightforward.
Of course not. No system is perfect.
We've had our share of struggles in truly living up to that ideal of meritocracy.
Absolutely. There are all sorts of systemic barriers and inequalities that can make it harder for some people to get ahead, even if they have the talent and drive.
Things like poverty, discrimination, lack of access to good education.
Exactly. Those are real factors that can stack the deck against certain groups.
So how do we reconcile those two things? On one hand, this strong belief in meritocracy, but on the other, the reality that it doesn't always play out fairly.
Well, Hanson acknowledges those complexities. He's not arguing that America is some perfect utopia.
He's not saying everything's rosy and everyone has an equal shot.
No. His argument is more nuanced than that. He's saying that despite the flaws, the American system, at its core, still strives to reward merit.
So it's more about the intention and the underlying principles than achieving perfect equality.
Right, and he points to things like social mobility. People do move up the economic ladder in America.
We also see efforts to address those inequalities we were talking about. Affirmative action, programs to improve education in disadvantaged communities.
Exactly. So it's not about claiming America is perfect, but recognizing that the pursuit of meritocracy is an ongoing process.
Always striving to make the system more fair and just.
Precisely. And I think that's what makes this whole conversation so relevant to everyone, no matter where they live.
Right, it's not just an American issue.
If America, with all its flaws and challenges, can still be considered a leading example of meritocracy, it raises some important questions.
Like, what can other countries learn from both the successes and the shortcomings of the American model?
Exactly. How can we work towards creating societies that truly reward talent and effort, regardless of background? It's a conversation worth having.
Absolutely. Food for thought for all of us. Thanks for breaking that down for us.
My pleasure. Always enjoy these deep dives.
Me too. And thanks to all of you for listening. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.